I've always thought aliens were overrated. I mean, sure, I've seen all the documentaries, read the tabloids, and heard about the abductions. But when a galactic recruitment agency hit me up for a job that involved meeting one of them, I didn't expect things to get weird this fast. So here I am, standing in front of this alien princess, a stunning, glowing, towering figure. She's practically radiating beauty, an otherworldly energy that makes me feel both out of place and completely inadequate at the same time. And I can't help but feel that, in her eyes, I'm nothing but a tiny speck in her cosmic universe. Not that she's anything less than charming, mind you. "Hello, human," she says, her voice smooth like silk. She's got this intense gaze, as if she's scanning my soul, and I'm doing my best not to look like a nervous wreck. I mean, who wouldn't be nervous? You're staring at a living, breathing alien. I smile awkwardly, trying not to fumble with the translator device on my wrist. Hey there. You, must be Princess Zara, right?" She nods, a slight chuckle escaping her lips. "Correct. And you must be John, yes? The one they sent from Earth?" She doesn't wait for an answer. She just keeps talking, her tone increasingly confident. "I've been assigned to guide you through our planet's customs. Are you ready for the ceremony?" Now, I know I signed up for some kind of ceremony, but the pamphlet I got didn't really mention anything specific. They were vague. Intergalactic bonding ritual. This. Universal peace treaty. That. But this? It sounded a little more personal than what I was prepared for. Ceremony? Sure, I say, still smiling, but now starting to feel a little sweaty. Ceremony for what, exactly? She leans in slightly, her alien eyes glinting with what might be amusement, or maybe something more intense. It's called the Cosmic Bonding Ceremony. Very sacred. It allows us to form an unbreakable connection between two beings. We can join our spirits, share our thoughts, desires, and experiences. I blink a few times. Okay, cool, sharing thoughts? I'm all for that. But I'm starting to get a feeling like I'm missing something. And then she drops the bomb. "Are you ready to come inside me?" she asks, her voice soft but carrying a strange, otherworldly weight. I choke on my own saliva. I'm pretty sure I must have heard her wrong. My mind races, trying to process what she just said. What? She repeats herself without skipping a beat, as if I should have been fully prepared for this. "The cosmic bonding ceremony requires you to come inside me from behind. It's how we connect our essences. The energy flows more powerfully that way." I blink several times, trying to process this. "Wait, come inside you? From behind?" My brain is trying to catch up with my ears. She doesn't react the way I expected. No giggles, no awkward apology, nothing. She just smiles serenely, like I should totally understand this alien ritual. And maybe in some cosmic sense I should. I know this might sound strange to you, human, but trust me, this is the most effective way. Our bonding will be profound, and I promise you, it will be something you've never experienced. I glance around, hoping maybe there's someone else I can talk to. Maybe I misread the room, and the human embassy is nearby, and they've been told what this is all about. But nope. It's just me and her. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that this is happening. I'm either going to embarrass myself or have a whole new level of awkwardness in my life, and I'm not sure which. But here's the thing, I've been through weird situations before. I mean, I once accidentally flashed my boss at the company picnic, and that wasn't nearly as complicated as this. So I take a deep breath. So, what exactly does this, bonding entail? Like, do I just, what happens after? She steps closer, her presence so magnetic that I can barely focus. It's more than just physical, human. This will be a spiritual union. It will link our souls. And yes, our bodies will connect as well, but it's more about the flow of energy between us. Think of it like an exchange of our most profound, intimate thoughts. I still don't know if I'm interpreting this correctly, but what I do know is that her eyes are locking onto mine, and there's this gravity to them. She isn't playing around. She takes another step closer and softly places her hand on my chest. The energy flows through the back. It's how our species aligns our spiritual chakras. Now, I know that's supposed to sound comforting, but the part about coming inside me keeps repeating in my head, and I can't help but wonder, is this some kind of alien euphemism? Did I just sign up for an intergalactic dating app that requires whatever the hell this is? I rub my temples, fighting off a mild panic attack. The last thing I want is to make a fool of myself in front of an alien princess. Plus, coming inside her? From behind? My brain starts glitching, as I feel like I might be getting some wires crossed here. I clear my throat, trying to get back on track. So, no, sex stuff? It's more like spiritual? Her lips curl into a soft smile, like she's amused by my confusion. It is spiritual, but also physical. In our culture, it's how we connect deeply. No other way works as efficiently. It's quite natural for us, though I understand it may seem unorthodox to humans. Well, yeah, I mumble. I can't say I've heard of anything like this back home. But hey, I'm open to new experiences, right? The princess gives a nod of approval. I'm glad you're open-minded, John. Let us begin. I swallow hard. Right. Here goes nothing, then. The first step into the unknown had begun, and I had no idea how deep I was about to get into the weirdest bonding ritual in the history of Earth's intergalactic relations. And I still didn't fully understand what the hell was about to happen. As the princess steps closer, her hand still resting on my chest, the air between us feels thick with anticipation. There's a quiet hum, a pulse in the room that feels almost too heavy to be natural. I glance at her face, trying to figure out whether I'm in over my head or just experiencing the wildest cultural misunderstanding of all time. But she's so calm, so serene, like this is just another Tuesday in the galaxy for her. She smiles again, her voice low and smooth. Relax, John. This is a sacred bond. You don't need to be nervous. Relax? Easier said than done. I mean, how could I not be nervous when an alien princess is telling me to spiritually, and possibly physically, connect with her in ways that make zero sense to my earthling brain? But I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Maybe this is some kind of cosmic test of trust or something. If I back out now, it'll probably ruin everything. Plus, I'm curious. Too curious to bail. All right. I'll trust you. I mutter, not even sure if that's what I mean. But I move a little closer, my heartbeat thudding in my ears. The princess tilts her head slightly, sensing my hesitation, but she's still all confidence. Her fingers lightly brush my arm as she steps behind me. It's strange, the touch feels warm, not just physically, but somehow, deep. I can feel a shift in the atmosphere, a certain heaviness. She must be using some kind of telepathic energy, because it's like she's reading my every thought. She places both her hands gently on my back, and I freeze, unsure of what's about to happen. But she's already ahead of me. Focus, John, she says softly. Let your mind open. The bonding works best when we're both in sync. I nod, even though I have no idea what this syncing thing is supposed to look like. But there's no time to question it. Her hands move to a more deliberate position, and I feel the energy shifting around us. It's like the room is pulsing with unseen waves of energy, an invisible force that's pulling at something deep inside me. Something I didn't know was there. I try to steady my breath, but there's a growing tension in my chest. The princess leans in close, her presence overwhelming, and for a moment, all I can think about is how alien this entire situation feels. It's like we're not just two people anymore. I'm suddenly aware of her every movement, every whisper of energy she sends my way. And then she speaks again, her words slow and deliberate. I'll guide you through the connection, but you must let go of all fear, all doubt. This is about more than just the physical realm. There's a pause. I can feel the weight of her words, like they're settling deep in my mind. But there's something else, something I can't explain. Are you ready? She asks, her voice almost a whisper now. I hesitate. The princess's words are calm, but the knot in my stomach tightens. Ready? For what exactly? To bond spiritually? To connect in ways I didn't even know were possible? I look around the room, but there's nothing to focus on. It's just us, this overwhelming cosmic energy, and a lot of confusion on my part. It's like everything else has faded away. All that's left is me and her. And then, she does something unexpected. She presses her forehead gently against the back of my neck, and in that moment I feel it. A deep, resonant vibration, like the hum of the universe itself. It's not a sound, but a sensation, something that's pulling at my very soul. I shiver involuntarily, but it's not from fear, it's something deeper, a mix of curiosity and uncertainty, and maybe even something more intimate than I'm prepared for. No, she whispers. Let go. And I do. As soon as I let my guard down, there's a sudden rush of energy that floods through me. It's like an electric current has been activated. But not in my body, no, this is something deeper, something far more intense. I'm pulled into a vast cosmic space, where stars seem to stretch out in every direction, and I'm floating, weightless. There's a strange warmth surrounding me, and I realize it's her. Our connection has opened something in me, something ancient and powerful. In this strange, astral realm, I can feel her presence clearly. It's like we're no longer separate beings. We're merging into something bigger, something indescribable. I can hear her thoughts in my mind, her desires, her hopes, and something else too. Pain. Loss. A deep loneliness that resonates across the stars. She's not just an alien princess. She's a being who's experienced the weight of existence in ways that I can't even begin to understand. I try to communicate, to share my thoughts with her, but I don't need to. She already knows everything about me. I can feel her acceptance, her understanding, and then her longing. And I understand. Not in a logical sense, but in a primal, emotional way. We are not just connecting physically, we are blending our very souls, and I can sense every thought, every feeling, every memory she's ever had. It's overwhelming. The feeling is intense, almost suffocating, but it's not unpleasant. It's like the very essence of her being is surrounding me, wrapping around me, and pulling me deeper into this cosmic bond. I can't pull away. It's too powerful. And then, suddenly, I feel a shift. The bond is no longer just an exchange of thoughts and emotions, it's something more. The physical connection she mentioned earlier starts to make sense. It's not just a metaphor, it's a literal joining of our energies, our bodies, and our souls. The idea that we're both participating in this ritual of unity is no longer abstract. It's happening right now, and I can feel it in every fiber of my being. Her touch becomes firmer, guiding me to follow her lead. There's a force to it, gentle, but firm, and it's not just physical anymore. It's a metaphysical pull, a force that's beyond understanding. I want to resist, but I can't. I'm swept up in it. I close my eyes, feeling the immense connection between us, and for the first time, I truly understand what she meant when she said we were forming a bond. We're no longer two separate beings. We are one. But even as I feel this overwhelming unity, I can't help but wonder, how much of myself am I giving away? How much of me is becoming part of her? It's not just a cosmic connection, it's something deeper. Something that feels permanent. And though the feeling is beautiful, it's also terrifying. The intensity of the bond is almost too much to handle. It's like every part of me is on fire, yet I feel completely weightless, adrift in an infinite space that somehow feels entirely real and absolutely unreal at the same time. The princess's presence is so strong now, it's as if she is everywhere, inside me, around me, and all I can do is surrender to the flow of energy between us. Her touch, still gently guiding me, feels more like a cosmic force than something physical, and with every movement, it pulls me deeper into this shared connection. My breath quickens, and I realize that the boundaries between us are starting to blur. I can feel her thoughts, her feelings, things I never could have imagined. Her loneliness, her desire for something more, and her fierce determination to fulfill this ritual the way it's meant to be done. But with every new wave of energy she sends, I feel a little more exposed. She's reading me, far beyond anything I've ever allowed anyone to do. It's like she has access to my deepest secrets, and she's not pulling back, not even for a second. "You're doing well, John," she says softly, her voice now a whisper inside my mind. I don't need to ask how she knows what's going on in my head. I can just feel her in there, understanding everything. I try to focus, to find some kind of solid ground, but it's impossible. There is no ground. There is no reality as I knew it. All I have is her, and her energy is so consuming that I can hardly think straight. It's like I've stepped into an alternate reality where the rules I've always lived by don't apply. Nothing is the same. And then it happens. I feel a sharp pull at my core, like I'm being tugged into another dimension. For a brief moment, I wonder if this is it, that I've gone too far, that there's no way back. But then I realize, this is what the princess was talking about. This is the true essence of the cosmic bonding ceremony. It's not just spiritual. It's a shared experience, a deep, profound unity that connects everything, our bodies, our minds, our souls. We are merging, not just physically but on every level of existence. Her hand moves again, this time with a more purposeful, deliberate touch, as if she's guiding me through some invisible door I hadn't noticed. The energy between us shifts, and I can feel it, the moment where everything clicks, where all the pieces of this bond fall into place. It's not just about the ritual anymore. It's about us. Together. I can't help but be overwhelmed. Her energy pulses with an almost primal intensity, and it's unlike anything I've ever felt before. There's something so raw, so pure in the way we're connected. She's no longer just the alien princess I met earlier. She's become something more, a part of me, a force that I can't resist, a force that I don't even want to resist. The moment feels timeless. I can't say how long we've been like this, whether it's seconds or hours. All I know is that the physical world, the reality I've known, has faded into the background. The only thing that matters now is this bond between us, this connection that is beyond anything I ever imagined. But as the connection deepens, I start to feel an unexpected shift. The bond, once so steady and sure, starts to waver. It's subtle at first, a flicker in the flow of energy, a change in the way her presence feels. I try to focus, to steady myself, but the energy is starting to feel unstable. The serene confidence I felt earlier is now tinged with something darker, something uncertain. "Princess?" I ask, the words slipping out without thinking. My voice sounds strange in my own ears, distant, like I'm speaking from a great distance. Her presence shifts too. I can feel her hesitation. "It's not supposed to happen like this," she whispers, her voice suddenly distant. "There's something wrong with the bond." My heart skips a beat. What's wrong? This was supposed to be sacred, a perfect connection. But now, I can feel the disruption, the strange, unsettling shift in the flow of energy. It's like something is breaking apart between us, something that should never have been broken. "We need to stop," she says, her voice filled with uncertainty. "Something isn't right. I can feel it." I try to reach out to her, to steady the connection, but it's like trying to grab hold of water, it slips through my fingers. The bond we formed so easily is now beginning to unravel, and I feel myself being pulled in a dozen different directions at once. I don't understand what's happening, but I know I can't let go. Not yet. But it's hard to ignore the growing sense of panic. The connection, which felt so powerful and pure moments ago, now feels like a storm, chaotic and uncontrolled. I don't know what's causing it, but I can feel the danger. It's like the very fabric of the energy between us is fraying, breaking down. The princess, too, seems panicked. Her usually calm demeanor has evaporated, replaced by an urgency I've never seen before. "I'm sorry," she says, her voice barely audible now. "This wasn't supposed to happen. The bond is stronger than I realized, but I didn't anticipate this. I want to reach for her, to fix this, but the connection is slipping further. I'm not even sure I have control anymore. It's like we're both caught in a cosmic whirlwind, being torn apart by forces we can't comprehend. The calm, steady energy that once defined our bond is now replaced by an undercurrent of fear and desperation. "We need to separate," she says urgently. "We can't stay connected like this." I don't know how to respond. I don't want to separate. Not after everything we've shared. But I can feel it, the tension, the instability. I know she's right. This connection is becoming dangerous. But pulling away feels like a betrayal. Everything inside me screams that this bond is the most important thing that's ever happened. But I also know that sometimes, letting go is the only way to survive. With a last, lingering thought of her, of everything we've shared, everything we've become, I pull back. Slowly, carefully, we begin to disentangle ourselves from the cosmic web we've woven together. And as the energy fades, I feel a part of me slipping away with it. The bond is broken, and in the silence that follows, I can feel the emptiness. It's not a loss, but a void, a space that's now filled with a strange, aching longing. "What happened?" I whisper. My voice sounds foreign to me, like I've just woken from a dream. The princess doesn't answer right away. She's still here, but there's something different about her now. The distance between us feels impossibly vast. And I realize in that moment that whatever this bond was, it wasn't just a connection between two souls. It was something far more fragile. Something that can't be undone. And now, we're left with the question, can we fix what was broken, or is this just the beginning of something that's already beyond saving? The silence between us is palpable, almost suffocating, as the cosmic energy dissipates into nothingness. I try to shake the feeling of emptiness, but it lingers like a shadow I can't outrun. My head is spinning, thoughts tumbling over one another, trying to make sense of what just happened. The princess, no longer the serene and confident alien I met earlier, seems just as lost as I am. She's standing there, staring at me, her eyes wide and full of something I can't quite place. "I'm sorry," she says, her voice barely audible, yet laced with something raw. "I didn't mean for this to happen." I want to say something, anything, but the words catch in my throat. I don't know how to process what just took place. The intensity of the bond we shared, the depth of it, it felt real, too real. But now that it's gone, I'm left with nothing but confusion and a strange sense of loss. Her hand twitches at her side, as though she's unsure whether to reach for me or pull away. I can sense the struggle in her, just as much as I feel it in myself. There's a tension now that wasn't there before, a dissonance in the air that doesn't feel like it's only from the bond, but something deeper. Something neither of us fully understands. "We need to figure this out," I finally say, my voice more steady than I feel. "What just happened? Why did the connection break?" She lowers her gaze, looking almost defeated. "The bond, it's a rare and sacred ritual, but it requires balance. For it to work properly, both parties need to be fully attuned, not just physically but emotionally, spiritually. And I didn't realize how fragile the balance was." "So what? We were too intense for it to hold?" I ask, trying to make sense of it. The words feel strange on my tongue. "We connected too deeply?" She nods, and I can see the frustration in her face, the way she struggles with the weight of this. "Yes. I thought that by guiding you through it, we could find something beautiful. But the bond was always stronger than I anticipated. My emotions, my needs, they were too much. I didn't know how to keep the energy grounded." I shake my head, trying to focus. "It wasn't just your emotions, though. It was us. We were both in this together. I felt it too. I didn't know what was happening, but I felt it." She takes a step toward me, her eyes softening slightly. "It's true," she admits. "It wasn't just me. It was both of us. But I should have warned you. I should have prepared you better. I wanted this to be a shared experience, but I didn't realize how overwhelming it would be." I take a deep breath, trying to ground myself. "I get it. It was intense. But we need to figure this out. We can't just let this break us." She looks up at me then, her gaze intense. What if we can't fix it? Her voice is filled with uncertainty. What if the bond is broken for good? The thought sends a jolt through me. It's the first time I've heard her express doubt, and I can feel it echo inside me. The connection we had, however fleeting, felt like it was something significant. Maybe even more than either of us could truly understand. And now, she's suggesting it's beyond repair. No, I reply, my voice firm, though I can't shake the doubt creeping in. We can fix this. We have to. There's no way we can just let something this powerful slip away. I won't let it go. Her eyes flicker with something. Maybe hope, maybe disbelief. I don't know. But there's a vulnerability there now, a side of her I haven't seen before, and it's both frightening and oddly comforting. It's a reminder that, despite everything, she's not just some unshakable alien princess. She's human in a way. She's just trying to navigate this strange, cosmic experience the same way I am. I don't know how, she murmurs. I thought I understood what the bond required, but now. She trails off, her words falling into silence, as if she's unsure how to proceed. I take a step toward her, this time with more certainty. We don't have to figure it all out right now, I say softly. But we do need to try. Together. Her gaze lifts to mine, and I can see a flicker of understanding in her eyes. Maybe she's been alone in this for too long, trying to carry the weight of an entire culture's traditions on her shoulders. But now, there's a shift, a change. We're in this together. Not just as separate entities, but as equals, trying to navigate something bigger than either of us can fully comprehend. She nods, the tension in her posture easing just slightly. Okay, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. Together. For a moment, there's a peace between us, a shared agreement. We don't have all the answers, but we're both willing to find them. The weight of the bond, the connection we tried to forge, still lingers in the air, but there's a new sense of resolve, a shared determination to make it work. But as I stand there, facing the princess, I can't help but wonder, can we really fix what's been broken? Can a connection as deep and intense as the one we shared ever be restored, or are we forever changed by what happened? The uncertainty hangs in the air, but it's no longer something I'm afraid of. I think, I say after a long pause, we need to go back to where it all began. To the first connection. Maybe we can rebuild it from there. She looks at me thoughtfully, her expression softening. Back to the beginning, she repeats quietly. Yes, that might work. And just like that, a plan starts to form. We may not have all the answers, but we're taking the first step toward finding them. Together. As I stand there, the princess by my side, I realize that maybe this bond, this cosmic connection, isn't something to fear. It's something to be explored, something to be nurtured. And whether it's through love, trust, or something more, I'm willing to fight for it. I'm willing to fight for her. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way to make this bond even stronger than it was before.